Hello, my name is Billy Stratus, and today I will be talking about nutrition and my personal experience with it. So, the discussion of nutrition. Well, it started when I was very young. My parents vowed to teach me about how to eat healthy. When I was finally able to read, my dad would take me to the grocery store, and he'd sit me in the cart and have me read the ingredients and the nutrition labels on almost all the food we purchased. As I grew up, I started to learn what was actually in the food, such as fats, sugar, salt, and cholesterol, just to name a few examples. So from a very young age, I was taught what was best to eat and what was not best to eat. As an example, pop was never part of my diet because my parents did not want me to drink the drink. With all this information given to me from my parents, it has fueled my desire to become a nutritional researcher. And with that degree, I will be able to teach people about the facts about food and teach it to them clear. Today I will be talking about what is hiding in your food and your drinks. There are many things in today's foods and meals that are bad for one's health. These meals are served at many different places, including schools, work, fast food restaurants, and malls across the entire nation. This is an epidemic that affects thousands, maybe even millions of people every single day. Today, I will be focusing on two key components of these different foods. The first will be trans fats that are in these foods, and the second will be the excessive sugar that is poured into almost all food that we have nowadays. Trans fat. Well, it's a big part of many different foods that Americans eat. Here are a couple examples of foods that Americans eat that have trans fat. Biscuits, donuts, and anything with shortening or margarine is considered to be a very high content of trans fat. The U.S. dietary guidelines suggest that American adults have been having about 5.6 grams of trans fat per day. Now, people should not be really having trans fat in their diet if they can help it, because trans fat has no beneficial help to the body or to the organs within it. In fact, it actually destroys the body. It lowers the rates of HDL production, which is the good cholesterol, and raises the rates of LDL production, which is the bad cholesterol. That is the type that gets stuck in your arteries. Now, corporations are allowed to deceive customers who may be buying their product. Here, let me explain how this actually works. If a product comes with 0.499 grams of trans fat or lower, the company will put on a label that suggests that there is 0 grams of trans fat in that product, and they are allowed to do this by the law. The problem with that is that if the customer buys that product, takes it home, and consumes 2 or 3 or even 4 servings of that product, they are getting way more trans fat than they actually think. They think that they are not getting any trans fat because they have read the nutrition label and it states there's 0 grams of trans fat. The nutrition label has to be right all the time, right? Wrong. This is where the customer is kind of blinded to that fact, and the corporations are still making their money. A consumer may ask, well, if I cannot trust the nutrition label, what can I use? To resolve that issue, one may look at the ingredients list and look for these two important words: partially hydrogenated, as that will indicate that there is trans fat present in that food. If the ingredients states that there is fully hydrogenated, that is only saturated fat. The second component that I will talk about today is sugar that is in almost all the food that we have nowadays. Examples of meals and foods that people have on a day-to-day basis in America that have excessive amounts of sugar are pop, desserts, and white bread. The American Heart Association suggests that men should only have about 9 teaspoons of added sugar daily, and suggests that women should only consume 6 teaspoons of sugar daily. Now, To give you a little perspective on this, 1 teaspoon equals 4 grams. And a very good example is the standard bottle of Coke. Coke, the standard bottle that is 16 fluid ounces, contains 52 grams of sugar. Now, with all the math, that comes out to 13 teaspoons of sugar, added sugar, in just 1 bottle. Now, that's already over the recommended limit for men and women. The problem with that is that this is happening all over the world, but mostly in America. America's obsession with sugary foods has had a detrimental effect. Obesity is at the highest rate, and kids are now being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, which was not around 30 years ago. This was meant to open the viewer's eyes to what is hiding in food. Customers must demand for better quality products and better ingredients in their food for their health and for their sake of health. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.